What's up, everybody? Welcome to Mongols. This is our reaction show where we're going to break down everything that we saw and what we thought was the Hounds got their first win of the season at home against Hartford. I am Mike Sparks. Joining me for this one is Steve Mattias and Josh Brokaw. Gentlemen, long time no see. Josh, how are you doing, my friend? Oh,
Fantastic.
Victory Beverage. Yeah. We talk about this off air, and I'm like, Victory Beverage. Yeah.
No, that was perfect. Yeah. I'm doing great. It's nice to finally have our first win of the season and first home game of the season. So it was a long weekend, but a fun one.
Yeah, agreed. Steve, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Just kind of recuperating today after last night. Forgot how much it takes out of me being at the stadium and hanging out and whatnot. A ton of fun, but I'm just like, man, I'm really tired today. So lay down, took a nap, did a little bit of shoulder and neck yoga, and then pulled my calf as I was getting up from my nap, and I stretched really big, and I was like, oh no, I tweaked my calf.
You go mountain bike, I don't know, you do all this crap outdoors and you're like, oh yeah, I did a hike, I did this, and then so they're like, oh, I stood in a parking lot for 4 hours. Owie.
Yeah.
Listen, you're just teeing up for this episode to be as weird as it's going to be, because we are three old white guys that are going to be talking about all sorts of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And this is the preface. Just bear with us, people, because this is going to be a weird and crazy one. We're trying a whole bunch of different new things, and it should be a lot of fun. No, but I'm with you. We didn't get home until probably didn't get to bed till close to midnight last night, because after the game there was the fireworks, which the fireworks were fantastic, but Josh, we just kept shifting further and further to the left because you'd see pieces fall out of the sky and hit where we were standing during the game in the bleachers. We're just like, oh, okay, all right. And then I'm terrible at I talk to the players all the time. But we do it via this whole video thing, and every time I talk to them, I'm like, yeah, I'll see you at the game. And then I'll go down to the game and I see they're swarmed by people getting autographs and stuff, and I was like, I'll let them be, I'm not gonna go. And last night I was like, no, I'm gonna actually go introduce myself to these guys. And so I spent we were there until they kicked us out essentially last night, which was great. Everybody was freezing, but did get to catch up with some of the guys and say hello. And yeah, told Luke that I'm giving him a solid 6.8 in the ratings, which he appreciated after our conversation on Friday. He said some girl came up to him and told him he was getting a 6.3. So I was like, ouch. All right. That's harsh. But yeah, it was definitely a good night. Anything else we should discuss, guys, before we get into the game here?
I mean, you finally met Jesse.
So yes, this was a thing. I don't know if anybody knew this. There's a lot of people in the Steel Army that I know because they're involved and you guys talk about them, and I get the sense that they kind of know who I am because we do this. Jesse is one of those people that I could pick him out of a crowd. That's Jesse. I know who Jesse is, and you guys are like, oh, Jesse's not there to get the ball, who goes in the river or whatever. And I'm like, okay, so I know who he is. So I literally go down to the front of the Steel Army at halftime because Peter's down there taking pictures. And I was like, hey, I want to let's catch up. Let's just chat for a little bit. And I look up and Jesse's literally standing there next to me, staring at me. And he was like,
the most Jesse thing.
He was like, I know you and I know that you know me, but we've never actually met. And then he was like, do you know me? And I was like, yeah, you're Jesse. And then we caught up for a few minutes. It was fantastic. But I met him. I met Ariana, who I had not met in person before, but I told her that I'm a huge fan of Houndsy and what they're doing there. And we chatted about that for a little bit. So all in all, for me, it was a really good night to connect with people who, in any other sense, I just kind of meet virtually, which is fun. I need to be better about getting down to more games and being more involved and being a real person and not just some floating head in front of a blue wall with a board behind me. So
it's not like you live an hour away or something like that.
Well, that's what I mean. We literally, after we left, like I said, we didn't really get home until 11:30. So yeah. And massive thanks to my family for sort of toughing it out with me. I know my kids were like, okay, I kind of look at it from their perspective. I'm like, there's this grown man running around trying to talk to all of these players like it means something. And they're like, we just want to go home. Like, can you just let us go, please? Although it is funny. I messaged Liz this morning because as we were leaving, Josh, Liz was like, I've got way too many brownies. Can you guys take brownies home with you? And we were like, yeah, we'll take brownies home. My kids this morning, they get up and they were like, is there anything in these brownies? Like, is it okay for us to eat? And I said, okay, so you guys have learned from Jell-O shots. That's good. So I let Liz know. And she's like, I'm just trying to feed people. Like, why is everyone asking me if there's stuff in these brownies?
Well, because she was telling us at the tailgate that somebody else had asked her, like, are these okay brownies? Like, is there something in them?
How rich do you think we are? Like, we're not just handing out special brownies for free here. You know what I mean? Like that would come at a cost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, very, very happy with things. Very happy with the 3 points. Very happy to, get to see people and not just be a talking head. So I'm really happy for all of that. Guys, let's get into the game. But first, we'll take a quick break.
And now, hey, sir, 1 minute reactions with Laura Ellen.
We did it. We did it. We won. Can you believe it? I have to say, though, what a boring game. Like, how boring. It was so boring. I was like, what's happening here? The shots were not great. It was just really boring. And then we scored, and it was way less boring. It's way less boring when we're losing, right? Right? Like, it's so much better when we're winning. Danny has some ups, so that's fun. But just, I felt like, I know it's only the third game of the season. I know, but good grief. It was a little boring, but we won. It's 3 points. I'll take the 3 points. Come on. First home game of the season. It was great to see the SEAL Army on the TV. Great to see Liz. Great to see the smoke. It's so exciting. We need to score more. Let's go, Hounds.
This has been Hey Sir, 1 minute reactions with Laura Ellen.
Do love Laura Ellen. I did feel bad because she didn't know that I was going to the game, and so she messaged all of us like, the audio is really crap on Galazzo. She was like, Mike, how's your connection? And I just sent her a picture from the field, and she just responded, rude. So like, yeah. So I feel for you, but there's a lot of stuff in there that I'm sure that we will touch on that she just said. Guys, obviously we get the win. We get the 3 points. That's really all that matters. Goal off of Danny Griffin. Steve, give me a takeaway. What did you see here? What do you want to talk about?
I mean, Danny getting the first home goal of the season is just sublime. And the way that he did it. And I think the absolute best part about it for me is like he runs over by the Steel Army. And I think everybody's kind of expecting him to kind of huddle up. And no, the first thing he does, he goes right to the corner and gives his wife a hug. And that was super cute. So I just like, that was like, oh, Danny, that's cute. I love it.
Agreed.
Yeah, rude. Life is more important to him than us. I see how it is. I'm joking. No, it is sweet.
Josh, give me a takeaway.
I'm actually going to go a little bit before the game started for my first takeaway because I feel like you got to talk about. Hopefully, it's not in the agenda already. Sorry, I didn't look ahead. But the King Kenny tribute and just how that went. I stayed over by the front of the field to kind of watch that first before going into the section because I knew I wouldn't be able to see anything from our section from the Paul Child stand. So watched it. I stood behind like 3 front office of staff and all 3 of them are like tearing up and I'm like, hold it together. It was really sweet. Like, I don't know if you guys saw the video, but they had like all the players kind of like wish them well and all that kind of stuff. That was awesome. Tuffy coming out in a sweater and jeans, of course.
Hey, hold on. It was not a sweater. It was a hoodie. There's a difference between like a
sweater. Did it have a hood or was it just like
it was a hoodie
90s?
Okay. We actually looked it up and it's a very expensive hoodie as well.
I would guess. Yeah.
But yes, you're right. But still, it was exactly what you expect when you look at Tuffy. And it just, everyone was just, I don't know. It was very nice to see even Bob kind of, being a part of it. Because usually before the game and during the game, he is all business. He will not let anything distract him from the game. But he was like, no, I'm going to go out there and, do this thing with Kenny. I don't know if he had a choice, but he definitely seemed like he wanted to be there.
Yeah.
So that's good. Yeah. So I just wanted to talk about that for a little bit because it was really sweet to see.
I thought it was fantastic. I told you guys, the team had announced that they were doing something. I knew that something special was coming because I think I told you guys, I forget what morning, Thursday morning, maybe. I woke up and I get up pretty early, but I for whatever reason, I woke up at 3 and I saw that a text message from Danny Griffin. And I was like, what is happening? And so I opened it and then I saw it was a video and I was like, what? And I was like, I don't want to play the video in bed and wake up my wife. So I left the room. And I realized he had accidentally sent me the video he meant to send Grubba for that. And so I was like, well, I can't text him at 3 a.m. to let him know. So I waited till the morning after and I was like, hey, I think you meant to send this to somebody else. And so we had some fun banter back and forth. But dude, standing there in the stadium, the list of people, Jordan Dover, Ryan James, Rovey, Alex Dixon, Dequa, Griffin, I mean, it absolutely tugged on the heartstrings for people who've been around and followed this team for a while to know that even these guys who have left for whatever reason still feel a connection in a way to want to come back and want to say something positive about Kenny. It was amazing. It was amazing. It was really, really, really well done.
Yeah.
So
yeah. No, I mean, it really hit me when Jordan's face popped up. Because Jordan was great for the Hounds, great personality. I mean, one of those first players that I really started to get to know when I joined the podcast team. Just, awesome guy, right? There are a few players that are just so positive and care about fans in the way that Jordan did. But also that connection of he's the other guy that Bob brought from Rochester that stuck around for a while. And so they played together for 5 years between Rochester and Pittsburgh. And so super cool to see that. That one was that really another moment. I'm like, oh man.
Josh, what did you just grab?
Oh, I'm just going to put my Kenny bobblehead in the shot. I'm just working on that in the background. Don't worry about it.
At first I was like, did you grab a Jordan Dover bobblehead? But I didn't think we did those. So no, it was interesting. I don't know if you guys caught Kenny did an interview with USL All Access and Devin Kerr. And they asked him specifically, who are the players that stand out to you that you've played with? He said Jordan Dover and he said Steven Dos Santos, Duba. And so those are two guys we both got to see play in Pittsburgh. He also played with them in Rochester, obviously. It'll be interesting. We'll see. I might have a chance to talk to Kenny this week. And so there's a lot of questions that I have that I want to follow up from that conversation. I thought that there were a lot of good things he said there, but just to, catch up with Kenny and see what's going on with the restaurant and the next steps and it'll be fun. So if you guys have questions for Kenny, send them over in the event that we do get him on the schedule this week. We can ask some stuff for you for sure. But yeah, definitely good shout. They did a great job on all the ceremony and everything like that. Steve, give me a takeaway.
Injuries and starting to see players come back, but also seeing kind of the effects of that. So primarily that's surrounding Augie last night and the first 2 games as well, of feeling like he's out on an island. And the only player that's really been serving the ball into him consistently has been Etu, but it's been up that side for 3 straight games now. And so really, really looking forward to Jacqueline getting back and having the ability to have multiple wingers around to kind of change the point of attack, because some of those other guys, I think, are either just not experienced enough at this level yet, or that's not their natural position. And so I think Augie did really well with what he was given last night in terms of being able to move around and whatnot. But when he's your target guy, the service to him needs to be better and needs to be more frequent. So,
yeah. Question for you. So I put in the agenda, one of my takeaways was air quotes, the Augie problem. I'm not am not implying that Augie is a problem. And when we put out the player ratings, I say we, it was primarily me, Steve, because I did it first thing in the morning. And I was like, we won't go back and forth. I think I gave him a 5 or 6 in this one.
I disagree.
You disagree. Kaz came back in the comments strong and was like, I don't think that Augie's really the problem. I think the problem is that he's up there on an island himself. If you go back and you watch the goal, 2 players shifted to cover Augie, which left Danny wide the frig open for the header. Right. So, Steve, you and I didn't talk about this. We kind of did like an up-down a little bit at halftime. Yeah. What would you have rated Augie in this one?
I mean, I think because you and I have talked about it, trying to do whole numbers. I think I got to give him a 6. I think he was a little bit better than where he started, but I don't think enough to bump him up a full point. But I think it is that issue that I don't think the Augie problem is Augie Williams. I think it's the strategy that Bob has been using with the team and trying to hold possession instead of being a little more risky. I mean, Justin, I think online in some places, and then in our conversations throughout the day today, was talking quite a bit about that. And I 100% agree that you're not going to score goals and you're not going to get the shots that you need if you're not playing and taking a little bit more risky shots. If you're just always playing it safe, always playing the safe pass, then that's part of why I think we have an Augie problem, or a problem for Augie, I guess is a better way to say it.
Yeah, and that was more or less what I wanted to just discuss here briefly and just kind of get your guys' read on things. We've played 3 games. The only goal that he's had, and really the only good look at net, was off of some fluke in North Carolina. We're not getting the ball where he needs to get it. At what point are we at all concerned that the system just isn't suited for him? Not again, I'm not saying that Augie isn't playing well. I would love to see Augie with the ball at his feet more. Is that going to happen in this system?
I don't know if we'll see the ball at his feet more in terms of him taking players on the dribble or things like that. But I think once we've got Etu and Jacqueline on the wings around him, that really changes things. And it kind of reminds me, I mean, a different formation, but it kind of reminds me of, or I hope it will remind me of what we had when Dikwa and Cicerone were playing together, right? Where you had 2 guys that were really able to make those runs. I don't expect Etu to be making the runs into the box and taking a ton of shots, but I expect Jacqueline to do that. I think that's part of what we're seeing, right? That there's just not another guy that is doing those types of things to help open Augie up like Russ opened Dikwa up. And so I think that interplay is going to be really important. And so hopefully that works. And I think that there's a good chance that it can.
So real quick, Mondo just put in the chat, so long as he keeps pulling defenders and getting other people wide open, I don't think there's a problem. I don't disagree with that, but is Augie going to be happy in Pittsburgh being a decoy all season just to open up the chances for Danny Griffin or Jockeson?
I mean, it's also like he is the only one that's like seen as a threat for scoring right now. So if you're playing against the Riverhounds, step 1, defend Augie. Like it's just like, make sure you have someone on him, double team him if you have to, like just don't let him be free. So like he is pulling defenders, that's fine. But at the same time, who else is really that big of a threat to score goals besides him? So I do think the problem kind of takes care of itself once we do get someone like Jacqueline back in the lineup. I also, though, think that's a problem, because if we're relying on one player, well, really, both of them, like they both have to be healthy in order for our offense to work. That's an issue. So I do think we need something more up top. We have to figure that out, because this is going to be the story for every game. It's going to be basically, if these 2 players aren't healthy, we have crap attack and decent defense. And it's going to be, as Laura Ellen put it, boring. Because, you can have 80% possession or whatever we had, but if you're not doing anything with it and you're just passing around in the back, then who cares about that possession? And that's what this game felt like. I never once felt like, oh no, Hartford's going to beat us. I just felt like, oh no, Pittsburgh's going to beat themselves.
We're not going to score.
Not have any goals.
I mean, I almost turned to Mike I mean, I was about to turn to Mike and then the goal happened. And I was just like, are you worried? Because we haven't done anything. And if they catch us on the counter, we could lose this game. And then we scored. And then it was like, okay, I felt a lot better. But that was what was going through my head right before that play developed.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think Jockeson coming back is going to help. I think potentially a player like a Brad Sample who can make some of those passes, those cutting passes from the midfield, like sort of shortening. We talked a lot about, players like Suber, players like Beto who can make these line breaking passes. Yeah. But you also need somebody that's a little bit further up the field that's doing the same thing. And so Brad Sample getting a few minutes last night, I talked to him post game. He said he's feeling good. Steve, we had said it's a hamstring injury, but he said last night he felt it was cold. He said his lungs were like frozen, but he feels like he's ready to get back up to speed and back in the team. And so that might help things as well while we kind of wait for Berton to get healthy too. Yeah. So yeah, it sounds like I wanted to bring it up because I think it's a conversation piece, but I also am of the same mindset of you guys where I think that it's game 3. Like there's a lot that can change. And I don't think this is a problem yet, but it's a talking point. So
Mike, speaking of talking points, you were wearing your brand new birthday jersey.
I was, yeah.
Tell me your thoughts on the jersey when you see it live in person.
I really like it. Like I said, when it came out that if we're gonna do stripes, then like I have no notes. I further that with, once I see it in person and I'm wearing it, it's a cool jersey. I really like it. I could see that being our legacy, like moving forward. Now that said, we had a ton of conversations about the numbers and the name on the back being white, which I didn't realize. But like we couldn't see a thing on the field. Like you couldn't read any of that. So I don't know if the numbers and the name need an outline. They need something. I don't know how it looked on TV. If anybody who's in the chat saw it on TV, if you could, it might have been easier to tell who the players were just by their faces. But if you could read the numbers, let us know. But it didn't look great.
That took you much longer to take the bait than I thought it would.
I know. I knew what you were getting at, but yes. Yeah. No, I did like the jersey. I considered hanging it up behind me, but I figured I should wash it first. So,
also debated on singing you happy birthday, but decided against it on air.
Yeah, thanks.
Happy birthday, Mike.
And a 1, 2. No,
nobody
wants me to sing.
No, let's not do that. Yeah. Feeling the age, especially after being out late last night. And, cleared some brush today. Feeling old. So, what else? What else is going on? I guess just in terms of the game, in terms of stats. Luke just said hard to see on TV. So hopefully he's not talking about us and he's talking about the names and numbers. But yes, thank you, Luke, for adding that to the chat. Just a couple of things. So USL.
Wait, can we show the next comment?
What? Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, I mean you can. I don't have it up. Sorry, let me pull it up. Oh, Liz said today's the day. Take note, everyone. Yeah, thanks, Liz.
and by today's the day. Today is the birthday.
Yes, yeah, today. So USL Analytics they share all sorts of graphs and charts and data after each game as it's played in the USL Championship, League One. They've been doing Super League stuff. Amazing work. I want to talk to one of them at some point. I'm assuming they're somehow just grabbing all the data and it's just spitting out these charts and they're throwing them online. There were a couple charts that I did snapshot that I just wanted to sort of throw up on the screen here for you guys. So the first one is field tilt. And I think this kind of echoes what we were saying last night. And basically it's saying that in terms of the way that the possession and the way the ball was being moved, if you were literally tilting the field in one team's favor or the other, the Hounds had it 72-28, and that felt about right. If you were to sort of look at the passes in the final third, we had far more passes in the final third than they did. We had more passes into the box than they did. So that all looked about right and made sense. And then the other chart that was just interesting again for me was the passes into the final third. And not only the passes into the final third, where the passes in the final third were coming from again. And so you have, Sean Suber at the top, which we've talked about in the past, that this just seems to be the trend, that Sean is the guy that the offense is going to run through as the starting center back. And, literally it's Sean, it's Beto, it's Biasi, it's crap. Walty. Yeah, it's the top three, are Sean, Walty, and Biasi that are making those plays in the center half. And I think that according to the eye test, if you were to ask people who were sort of the most influential and sort of driving things forward, you would have said those three, and the stats bear that to fruition.
Yeah.
So yeah, more good games from them. What else happened in this game, guys, that we want to, well, there's a couple things, but I'll throw it to you. Josh, go ahead.
Mertz almost got his header.
Yes.
It was so close.
Yes.
And I was so excited, and it would have been great, especially having.
I love Robbie, but Robbie didn't almost get his header. Robbie was in the exact right spot to get his header. But
if they would have passed the ball a little bit lower to adjust for the height of Robbie, he would have got his header. Listen, in the game that our second shortest player got a header, Griffin, like it could have been his night too. If we would have gotten 2 headers from the 2 shortest players on the field, that would have been fantastic, especially against Frankfurt. Would have been so good. But yes, Robbie almost got a header and I almost lost it. I wasn't in the section when it happened. I was actually over beside the section at the corner, watching it from there. And I was like, I gotta run over to the section if he gets it, because I gotta be there for the celebration. And I was like, unfortunately not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of the things that we haven't touched on was sort of the formation. And once again, the lineup is released and we're sitting there going, what is going on? Justin called it. I'll give him credit. He called the lineup correctly, but it seems that we're moving Beto, at least in this game, we moved Beto into sort of a holding midfielder position with Walty, which pushed Griffin up into an attacking role, which we've been calling for forever. Pays off in this game. He gets a goal. There were a lot of times that he was acting almost as a second forward with Augie, like leading that press. But yeah, when we're getting Griffin, when we're getting Mertz into the box in dangerous positions, that's what you got to see. And so we just need to convert more of those. But Bob will be the first one to tell you that the chances are what he cares about. Like when we went through that drought last year, it sucked, but we were generating the chances, and that's kind of the best you can do. And then they're going to start falling. So yeah, no, that was a good call. What else? The one thing I had on here was just that it was cold. Like everybody who was there will tell you that it was cold. But I was talking to sort of my kids, and they said you could tell just by watching the game by how much the ball was skipping, how much when you're trying to trap it, it's bouncing off guys hard. Guys were still slipping on the turf because it's just that little wet, cold, like it just. There's a reason why we play the majority of our games away from home early in the season. It is very much tactical. So yeah, it was cold, but yeah. What else, guys? Anything else? I have one other thing I want to talk about, and I think you guys know what it is, but if there's anything else you want to talk about beyond that moment.
No, I mean, I think we covered the majority of it. I guess the only other thing for me is just, we'll talk about who our players of the game are and whatnot, but I think like it's hard not to rate Eric really high. But the reality is he didn't actually have that much work to do. And for me, that's a testament to, other than a couple of mistakes early in the game, how good the defense played last night.
Yeah. The caveat is, when we had this conversation while we were there, was it's Hartford. So like, to what, how much do you rate that? But you also you can only play the team that's in front of you.
Sure. But I also think like it's easy to bash Hartford, call them Fartford, call them Fraudford, whatever you want to call them.
Hartford.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
That's new for me.
Oh, really? Yeah, sure. Hey, take it, use it. I don't know. I think I've seen it on Reddit. But I think the reality is Hartford may not be great, I think, historically at actually scoring, but they are a team that oftentimes I think gets a lot of balls into the box, gets a lot of balls to their forwards. And we kept them from doing that most of the night, right? I mean, their best chances came from a couple of mistakes. And so I think that, yeah, they may not be able to convert those shots, but we didn't even give them those shots. And that's a big check mark for me in the Hounds defense category, regardless of the opponent.
I mean, this is also though, like, why I feel like a lot of people, and even myself to some extent, walked away from that game not feeling great, even though we got the win. Like, it's pretty telling when you're kind of feeling like, why did that look so hard? Like, that was Hartford, and that was like, you know, maybe to your point, it is because we had such a great defense and we did a great job there, and we should give the Hounds more credit for being able to close them down, even though it is Hartford. But it just, I walked away from that game being like, yeah, we won, but man, it should have been that hard. Should have been that close.
No, I agree exactly with what you're saying, Josh, because against a top team, we may keep them from scoring, but are we going to score against a much better team? Right. I don't think, if we played like we did last night.
And I think that the sentiment that you're saying was echoed by a lot of the players that I talked to last night. Like, we would have conversations and they're like, at least it's 3. Like, we got the 3 points. Yeah. Like, Robbie was like, I can't feel my toes, but like, it's 3 points.
Robbie was so cold after the game, the autograph session, when I was talking to him. I could see his hand shaking.
Yeah. So like, they know that they can do better. And I think that that's a positive as well. If we would have gone into, they're like, wow, yeah, we won. Woo! Like, that was not the sentiment by any of the guys.
No.
So yeah. Agreed. Guys, the one other moment I want to talk about, and then we'll sort of hit our next break, was there was a moment where we know Mondo is there and he's fully suited up and we know where he sits and everybody knows where he sits. And Ammo was over there next to him and they were chumming it up. And if you know where Mondo sits, he kind of sits almost like on an aisle. So literally right next to him is an aisle that leads to stairs that go down, like behind him. And and at one point, I think it was Beto, somebody just like ripped a ball up into the air towards the stands. And of course, it heads directly towards both Mondo and Ammo, neither of whom, you know, I don't think I'm destroying any illusions here. Neither of them can see very well based on what it is that they're wearing. And the ball just totally takes Ammo out. And from what we can see, like, knocks him down the stairs. So,
I mean, he disappeared from
the
Paul Child stand.
Yeah. Ask Mondo afterwards. And I said, why didn't you stop that? And he's just like, I couldn't see anything through my visor. I didn't know what happened. So, hopefully our condolences to Ammo. And Mondo just said neither of us were paying attention, to be fair. So,
it was like, I saw it happen live and it was just like, oh no. It was just like ammo down. I wasn't close enough to see where he went and if he was okay, but he popped back up. Like, he was fine.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I think this is an indictment of the league, though, don't you? That I mean, we can complain about the protocol when a player gets a head injury, but Ammo takes one to the head and nobody goes over, right? Like, come on,
no medic.
Come on. Where's the concussion protocol for the mascots?
That's right. Especially when the Hounds were releasing all the pictures with the kids that were in T-shirts that said, "I'm only here for Ammo." Like, come on, like, he's got a cult following now. You gotta take care of Ammo. Yeah.
Speaking of Ammo, he had a sweet bike, electric bike, and it was the first time he's had that bike, and he was rolling around on the field at halftime, before the game, after the game. He was rolling around the parking lot before the game started. He like came flying by our section and stopped and like hung out for, a little bit at the tailgate. So yeah, he has some sweet new wheels and he was really hamming it up on them.
Yeah. Go check out Peter. Peter, he shared the pictures over on Instagram. You could also follow us. We're kind of linked with it. He got an amazing shot of Ammo whipping around the field on that thing. Really, really good. Peter also provided the image for our cover art for this one as well. So that's part of the thing, is especially when we're home, Peter's gonna be there taking pictures and video and stuff like that. And we're going to be incorporating that into our show. for sure, he does some great work. So good shout about Ammo on the little scooter. Yes, definitely a great addition to the fan day experience. Guys, speaking of Mondo, let's take a quick break and get into Mondo's moment here.
It's time for Mondo's moment, the top moment of the game from the Mandalorian.
Our Mondo moment of the week begins in the 74th minute of the match. There's some back and forth between the defense and the midfield, and then the ball comes up to the right side of the attacking third at the feet of Luke Biasi. Biasi crosses it in and forces a clearance from Hartford's defense, goes out for a throw. The throw finds its way back to Luke, who breaks a Hartford defender's ankles and then crosses it again, which forces another Hartford clearance. This clearance, though, comes up the middle of the field, and Edrich, who hustles onto the ball from at least 3 times the distance of the nearest defender, manages to touch it around a defender and get it into Junior Etu. Etu, at this moment, is looking at a box that has 5 Hounds players and 6 Hartford players in it. He takes a touch, and Edrich continues his movement into the box, creating a 4-on-3 situation, pulling a defender away from Danny Griffin and allowing Etu's cross to meet the head of the unmarked Danny Griffin, who puts it in for a goal. And that is our Mondo moment.
This has been Mondo's moment. Go Hounds.
So that I was really excited about that background music, by the way.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I don't know how that's free to use, but it is. Thank you, Mondo. That's going to be in an additional segment that we're going to start doing here as well, in addition to Laura Ellen's Hey Sir. It'll help us kind of break up what we're doing. Guys, we got 2 sets of rankings that we're going to do tonight.
Wait. Can we go back to the Mondo moment? My favorite thing about that is I didn't notice this when I watched it earlier on my phone, but watching it now, how you can see that he's got the replay up reflecting in his visor.
No, that's great. And also, I love the Mondo helmet with a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Just like Mondo.
Which version
like
are we getting? Are we getting he's on the podcast, or are we getting the Mandalorian?
See, I almost now want Mondo wearing the helmet, wearing a bathrobe with his feet up on the couch or something, giving us the moment that way. Just totally stripped down Mondo. Yeah, not literally, but yes.
I mean, nice lounge chair, lazy boy.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
We got to find some money in the Mongols budget for that, because that would totally be worth it. So, guys, I mentioned we're going to do sort of 2 sets of rankings here. We did the player ratings, but something that the team did last year, and who knows if this will be a recurring segment. I just want to talk about one of these in particular, and so we're going to make it a segment. So, do you know what time it is?
Tuxedo dress-up party.
You know that girls know how to ask any man around.
All right, so here we go, guys.
Jeez.
We got some fashion show background music going. For those of you who are only listening, we will describe everything it is that we are going to talk about. For those of you who are watching, this is going to be a pleasure for you. So, guys, the team does these walk-ups, right, where all of the guys show up and they take pictures of them and they put them online, and that's kind of the end of it, right? Then nobody really talks about what's going on. So we got pictures of every player that comes in, and tonight we are going to pick who we thought was wearing the best drip. Again, keep in mind, this is coming from 40-something white guys who are all in the process of losing their hair. So take our, opinions for whatever they are. They're just opinions. But guys, let's start at the top. My list is in alphabetical order based on not even first name, just how I typed it. So here we go. Augie is up first. Augie is, making his entrance in a nice leather jacket that appears to be racing inspired. He looks good. He looks pretty fashionable. I dig it. Mm-hmm. Next up is Jason Borgie, who I talked to post-match. Went over, said hello. Seems like a very nice guy. I believe that's a Supreme football jersey, maybe, that he's wearing with a nice little gold cross. After him is Luke Biasi, who is rocking a gray flannel. I felt like I should have scripted this too. I apologize. I should have put more effort into it. This is a terrible gag. Anyway, Luke looks good. He looks casual. He's just happy to be here. He's great. Eric Dick, he looks like a middle school teacher. Comes in with the quarter zip sweater. It's Eric Dick, man. Like
the thumbs up is what kills me. He always does like a smirk.
Yeah.
Hey,
yes.
What's up?
Yeah, the thumbs up is great. He doesn't need to bring it fashion-wise because he brings it on the field every game. Up next is Danny Griffin, looking like, is it Danny Zuko from, the Grease movie with the high school Letterman jacket, just, looking too cool for school.
I was going to say High School Musical, but yeah.
Yes.
Grease is also a good reference.
There's the age coming out, right? Referencing Grease instead of High School Musical.
Exactly. After Danny, you have Asumanu coming in. Asumanu always pulls out some really fashionable stuff. I think he and I talked about this last year. Where he finds stuff is just, it's amazing. Aiden O'Toole looks like he just walked off a runway. He's got his little clutch bag with him, wearing a striped blue and white jacket that says honor on it. Again, just sort of looks happy to be here. Larson, it looks like a super spy, man. He's rocking the white jeans with a black turtleneck, and he has the cross on top of it. Yeah, I would not be surprised to see him in a spy thriller. This is the one I wanted to bring up. Bradley Sample.
The whole reason we're doing this.
The whole reason why we're doing it. Bradley Sample shows up. He is rocking a cowboy hat with a long sleeve t-shirt with a cat wearing a cowboy hat, and it says Meowdy across the top of it.
The best part is the smirk on his face, because he knows this is about ready to happen. He's so proud of himself.
Yes.
He's like, this is hilarious, guys.
Yes.
He's in on the dad joke. He wants everyone to be seeing it, and I just love that.
Exactly. John Suber, it just looks fresh. Dude has the white button-up shirt, some dark jeans, looks clean.
He looks like an Air Force pilot on his day off.
It does. He looks good. Yeah, we like Sean. And then Jackson Walty showing up with the baggy jeans, wearing the Eric Dick t-shirt that was the fake jersey launch. And he is also doing, the double P signs just like on the t-shirt. He also knows that it's a joke and is in on the joke.
I feel like he should be upset, because this would have been the winner.
It
wasn't for Meowdy. If it wasn't for that, he definitely would have taken this one away. But yeah, he got one-upped.
Yes. So guys, there's no debate, right? It goes to Bradley Sample and Meowdy. Okay.
Josh said it perfectly, right? Any other day, Walty wins this, and then Sample. One up is not enough, right? This is like exponential, multiple numbers hanging out there. This has many more zeros up.
Yes.
I feel bad has a prop. So
exactly,
once you bring in a hat to go with it, much more effort was made there. So he has to win it.
Yeah. So kudos to Bradley Sample. You win it. I mean, cut to, O'Toole or Asumanu, who are actually trying to look fashionable. And no, we go with Meowdy. Yeah. So now you know what your target is, guys. Don't aim too high. But,
you guys can be absolutely fashionable, and we're going to appreciate that, but pander and give us things like Meowdy.
The funniest guy
like Meowdy.
That's what we're saying.
Yes, exactly. All right, guys, let's get to the actual ranking that we're going to do here. Sorry, I wasn't even paying
my cheeks hurt.
I wasn't even paying attention to the comments. Liz said all 6 to Sample. So guys, let's actually talk about ranking. So what we've been doing the past few weeks, as echoed by the board behind me here, is we will pick the top 3 players in terms of how we thought they performed last night. Number 1 gets 3 points. Number 2 gets 2 points. Number 3 gets 1 point. What we will do is we'll add them up at the end of the season, and then we'll get sort of a definitive list of how people did over the course of the year and who we think was our definitive best player. At this point, after 2 games, we have Jackson Walty leading with 5 points. So he got points in both of the first 2 games. He's the only one. Augie got 3 points in the first game. Biasi's on 2 points, and Mertz and Beto are both on 1. So, Steve, give me a candidate. Who do you think belongs in our top 3 tonight? And then we can sort of sort out from there.
Okay, so I think we're going to ultimately have to pick Danny.
Okay.
But
Oh, Josh is giving a face. So okay.
I have to say that Walty for me was the best player on the field. Consistently just did the same thing all night long, and it was good and it was above average. But I can't take it away from Danny, so I'm going with Danny. But it's so tough.
I'm glad you're going with Danny because I really wanted to go with Walty. So now I get to.
I didn't know where I was going with that when I started. I was like, which one am I picking? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm so conflicted.
I think Walty had the better game all around. Yes, it's important that Danny got that goal. Thank you for getting that goal. We needed it desperately. So there's nothing to take away from that. It's just I think Jackson had a better game. Walty was, I like to call it the All Hounds Eve bump. He came to All Hounds Eve,
Nice.
and he had an excellent game the next day. So let that be a lesson.
I also thought it was really funny, Mondo. We need to have a conversation later because every time I walked past Walty during the autograph signing, him and Mondo were in some deep conversation. And to watch somebody like Walty gesturing with his hands so passionately to somebody like Mondo, who is fully suited up and you can't see his reaction at all, was amazing. It was just... Yeah, it was fantastic.
And what I love about that is when Mondo and I are just talking in other contexts, he is very verbose and uses his hands. He's very expressive. And so that is hilarious.
Yeah.
Yes.
Drew is expressive. Mondo is not.
Yes,
Mondo's
yes,
not.
yes.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so you guys, we have Walty, we have Griffin. I'm really torn here in terms of the third because I think that I can't even remember what the rankings are over on Substack, even though we did them this morning, mongols.substack.com. I think there's a couple of guys that, I had the conversation with Luke Biasi on Friday about how we do this and sort of you're kind of comparing yourself to yourself in a lot of ways. So, Eric Dick gets the shutout. Steve, to your point, he didn't really have a ton to do. So you kind of go, well, what would he have to do to get on this list? I don't know. It's very clear that Dick is a fan favorite and has a bit of a cult following just based on the swarm of people that surrounded him in the autograph signing.
Okay, but he's one of the most easy players to also find in that crowd of people.
That's true.
He's taller than everybody else, right? I mean, we were talking about it, right? You're like, I got to find Luke, and we couldn't find Luke because he blends in because he doesn't stand out in a crowd.
That's fair.
Maybe it's just that Eric is easy to see from.
I'm not saying that I think Eric necessarily belongs in the top 3 this week, but I'm just saying he did get a shutout. So we have to keep that in context. I continue to like what I see from Suber. I thought that he did a good job breaking up plays and in distribution last night. I thought Luke put in a really good shift last night. Robbie grinds it out. I thought he provided a spark at a time where we were kind of down a little bit. And I asked him afterwards, I was like, were you going to hit that guy? He was like, no, I was just playing games. And I was like, okay, cool. All right, good. So we know that Angry Robbie's a thing. That's not what that was last night. But
I want to say something about Robbie that I am thrilled with the progress that Robbie has made. And I talked to him about this a little bit last night, that the corner kicks that he has been taking are absolutely fantastic. Yeah. It's hard for me to put him as a top 3 when those corner kicks are not helped by the rest of the team, right? Again, so there's this tension there of he's doing everything right, but it's not working for the team. And so part of this for me is how this fits into how the team is doing overall, not just did one guy have just a standout, right? And so maybe I'm talking myself into Walty at the back of my mind at the same time, but different.
I mean, for myself, I think Robbie had a good game. I don't think he had the best game out there or the top 3 game. I personally think either Suber or Biasi would be the third pick. And I don't know which one for sure. I'm leaning towards Suber, but I would think one of those two.
My gut is telling me Suber at this point. Steve, what do you say? What are you saying here?
No, I This is not based on their individual performances, because for me it is so close that they were both absolutely excellent. They did all the things that they need to do in their positions. I want to see another name up there, so I'm going Suber.
Yeah.
Luke's already up there, and that sucks for Luke, right? Like, I'm gonna not give him points because I want to see another name up there, but that's where I'm at.
Yeah. I think I agree. So, okay, we're saying our top 3 are Walty, Griffin, and Suber in that order.
That's
Did you guys
my order.
change that order? That's your order, Josh?
Yeah, that's my order.
Steve?
I still got to go with Danny first.
Tiebreaker.
So this means I'm tiebreaker. Crap.
What'd you get for going last?
I know. My gut is telling me Walty first, but then I also feel like Walty's like running away with it. So now what's going on in my head is,
and that's what I'm sticking you with, Mike, on purpose.
I know. So I guess that my question is was Walty that much better than Danny? I
think the reality is Walty may have kept us from giving up a goal. I think he did. But we don't walk away with 3 points without Danny Griffin getting that goal. And for me, that is really important in the actual outcome of the game. And so Walty may have been the better player on the night, but Danny won us 3 points.
I'm going to get a lot of hate from this, but I think that your point is spot on. I think that if it wasn't for Danny scoring, and it could have been somebody else scoring, if it wasn't for Danny scoring, we would have been doing a lot of what we had said, where it's like the ball's just moving back and forth across the D. Nobody's making runs. In a game where we needed a goal, in a season where we've needed a goal, then Danny was the one to deliver the goal.
Yeah.
And so it's neck and neck. Okay. All of you Walty lovers, don't come at me. I love him too. He was my number 1 coming into this, but I think I'm going to swap, and I'll put Griffin at the top and then Walty in second. Josh is giving me the thumbs down. I'm surprised the Kenny bobblehead is not shaking his head left and right, just saying that it's wrong. But okay. So we're going to say Griffin with 3, Walty with 2, Suber with 1. And
wait, we got to throw this one up there, Mike.
What the sorry.
This one.
73. So Mondo said 73% of the earth is covered with water. The rest is covered by Jackson Walty. That needs to be a t-shirt. We're going to make that t-shirt. So if you want it, that's
And now we got to make that t-shirt of Walty giving the 2 peace signs while wearing giving 2 peace signs. Yeah.
It's going to happen. And then I'm going to send it to Jackson so he can wear it at walk up, and he can wear that shirt.
And then he won't, and Sample will, and then we'll pick Sample again.
Keep it going, baby.
Yeah. This is gonna be fun. I need to get some addresses. Okay, so that is what we think. Let us know what you think. People in the comments are already saying they're disappointed with me. I'm sorry, people. This is if you don't like it, get your own show. Guys, it was 3 points that we needed. The players acknowledged it was 3 points that we needed. I'm glad that we got it at home. We're starting off the season perfect at Highmark. We get another crack at it next week with Birmingham coming to town. We no longer have BDK, so we'll see what we can do there. But any final thoughts before we get out of here in this one?
It was a good weekend. It was a lot of fun. All Hounds Eve. We had memberships selling at Steel Army. In fact, I ran out of memberships. We had so many pickups and new purchases. So it's gearing up to be an exciting season. Yeah, if you're not going to the games, get out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of fun. Games at 7 p.m. on Saturday. We will have our normal slate of shows this week and articles and things like that. Like I mentioned, we're trying to get a pregame in with King Kenny set up. So if you do have questions, send them over to us. You guys can get us at mongols3@gmail.com. You can also find us on all of the socials. Just send us a message there. Otherwise, Josh, your Dogs of War continues to be a massive hit. So keep rocking those. We'll have our prediction show with Justin. I don't know if we'll do an insider show for Birmingham or not. A lot of it's just dependent upon who's there to talk to, but we will see, and also how much time we have. But yeah, lots and lots of stuff coming this week. I think that's it. Anything else, guys?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
This was a lot of fun tonight.
Yeah, if you like Tuxedo Dance Party, let us know, and maybe we'll make it a recurring segment.
Please do.
We're keeping that name too until DC comes and sues us. So Thanks, everybody. We will be back with more Hounds and Riveters content for you very, very soon.
Later.
See ya.